once again, and with a new guest. This is my very good friend, a former colleague of ours, Paritosh Joshi. We used to work for the same company, which we will not mention over here because we've had fond memories of that company. Anyways, but Paritosh Joshi is also a Manchester United fan, a big Manchester United fan, and there were times when we used to be watching the games together, and they used to abuse a lot because those were the days. And I remember it was the game against Everton which we were watching together in the
3-0,
office.
3-0,
4-0.
3-0, 3-0.
4-0. It was
4-0, 4-0.
4-0. And
Yeah.
coincidentally, we're meeting once again, and the game that we have tomorrow is against Everton. So hopefully we'll have a
Yeah.
different result tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Things are looking up. And I wouldn't say the cursed slogan again, but the managers are doing some bits. And I have always had faith in someone who would know the culture, who would genuinely believe what the club stands for. And we can see what the results are showing that if you promote the youth, if you are willing to give the younger players chance, more often than not, they'll uh, they'll probably have a positive result for you in the offing. And we are seeing this from like past 5 or 6 years that we have not really had any successful moments. That the players who are shining, given the Zlatan Ibrahimovic and given the Wayne Rooney's, are the younger players. There are not many forefronts on Manchester United side who are older, who are wiser, who have won something credible at the international stage. So we'll have to have younger players come in. And the last time this started was in '92, the class of '92. We all know how 5, 7 players came in from the academy and completely changed the outlook of Manchester United. And that is the same thing that can happen again for United. Hopefully, for United fans, that does happen. And for others, I think it will be traumatizing to see another United team come through the academy. But it will take a while. It will definitely take a while. But we can see a positive result because we finally are gelling up well. The front three are fit. We are seeing Anthony Martial setting up major striker goals, if you can say. Like the proper striker we wanted, Anthony Martial is showing something like that. The ones who we can relate to, like the Luis Suarez in his prime, or how Lewandowski was playing, scoring goals from anywhere, like the one he scored against Manchester City. He scored from literally nothing. Nobody gave him a chance, and something like that gives you hope that there is still something left in the season for us.
And football is a funny game, Paritosh, because I think 2 weeks ago when United had to settle for a stalemate against Aston Villa, 2-2 stalemate at Old Trafford. We all thought that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might actually get sacked sooner or
Yes, yes,
sooner
yes,
rather than
yes,
later.
yes,
But
yes.
because the upcoming games were against Tottenham Hotspur, Jose Mourinho's Tottenham Hotspur, and Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. But within a matter of 1 week, we beat both these teams. And then after that, we beat AZ Alkmaar, who are second in the Dutch league. Okay, let's not forget that they're second in the Dutch league and they're 3 points behind Ajax. So that's three big teams in a matter of days. And all of a sudden, it's looking all well and good again. And people, I think, are now all in brigade a little bit. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of results. If Solskjaer starts getting results, and the people will eventually back him, but it's also the people's responsibility, I feel, that they need to give him at least a little bit of a time, and for that they will have to back him up to an extent.
100%, 100%, 100%. I always said that Ole should be given at least a season or two because we've given him only one transfer window. We cannot sack another manager just after giving him a permanent manager's contract. You have to believe in him. You have to give him a chance. You have to let him bring in players that he wants. You have to let him trust the players that he wants to trust. He's already sorting this team out. And sadly for us, we are not having uh, the services of small Dini, who is doing his bits in Italy. So we'll have some players coming in. There'll be some changes, and more often than not, whenever we were working together, I spoke to you about this that I'm seeing a completely different Manchester Manchester United team since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in. We are seeing younger players being promoted. We are seeing someone like Mason Greenwood performing sensationally well. I believe this guy has genuine knack of goals, something that Marcus Rashford even lacks to a bit. Marcus
You
Rashford is
mean,
not an out-and-out scorer right now.
right. You mean Mason Van Greenwood, not Mason Greenwood. Reminds me of Van Persie. That left foot of his is like a magical. It's like Harry
Even his
Potter's
right,
wand.
even his right. Not only we have to give him credit that he can take a penalty. He took a penalty with his right foot, if I'm not wrong, and that
Yeah,
left people just wondering that is he left-footed or is he right-footed, because he's so bloody good. And for a youngster, that too of only 18, 19 years of age, this is incredible stuff from him. And his uh, touch in the final third is something
right.
that United always lacked in the past 3-4 years, and we are finally having someone who can score goals for us at regular intervals. My only worry from the whole Mason Greenwood thing is that he doesn't get over pressurized. He doesn't get overwhelmed from the amount of pressure on his soldiers, and the way that people are letting him being the center point, I think that is not perfectly right at the moment. I think we should give him a season or two to rest, just let him
Right.
settle in, breathe in to the situation, and then he can potentially be one of the best that we have from the current lot.
And Paridosh, I think you did talk about Mr. Greenwood over here, and we were talking about not putting a lot of pressure on him. But I honestly feel that the one thing that Solskjaer is doing right is taking care of Mason Greenwood in the right manner.
Yes,
He's
definitely,
giving him enough game time, but at the same time, he's protecting him from the pressure of the Premier League, and he's bringing him off the bench after the 70th minute. So I think he's handling him well. He already has 6 goals this season, more to come, I'm pretty sure. But yesterday there were reports that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the rest of the recruitment staff from Manchester United had gone to Austria to have a word with Haaland from Salzburg,
Haaland,
Redbird Spur.
yes. Our
So
one of our head scouts. I'm not
right,
quite sure what his name is, but he was there to see Haaland perform, and yes, because he knows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that can be an equation which can come in. But still, even if we land someone like him, and even if we land someone like I don't want to take any names, but a great midfielder who we were constantly linked with, the Portuguese one, and I hope he comes in. I hope a strong defensive pair between Fred and Scott McTominay is there in the offing. Scott McTominay, again, I have high hopes from that guy. He is a sensational player. Someone like Roy Keane, I see this aggression from Scott McTominay,
right.
like a captain-like spirit. He's always ready for the fight. He doesn't care who is in the opposition, whether it is Manchester City, it is Liverpool. They are big players against him, and he doesn't just care. And that is something that Manchester United are always known for. I hope Scott McTominay turns into one of the greatest midfielders that Manchester United has ever had, and he has the right spirit. He's one player from the past 2 seasons that I can recall. I have high hopes from him in the midfield, because you can score all the goals, but if you don't control the midfield, your attackers are out of the equation. We saw how good McTominay and Fred were, and that's why our front three were able to perform the way they did in the past few games. And I hope that someone like Mason Greenwood or someone like Marcus Rashford, even because he's only 22, they
Right.
get supplies from the midfield with the likes of Scott McTominay. Fred is getting really good for Manchester United, and that is something really positive. I told you, if you remember a while
Coutinho.
back, that I told you when we were working together that Fred is one guy I really want to see perform to his full potential, because he has potential. He came in from Shakhtar and he was performing really well there. Then suddenly the change of culture and the conditions maybe got to him. He wasn't able to gel up with the side, and now he's finally looking like a player who can perform really well for the club. I hope that someone like Fred and McTominay get a supply. Uh, I hope that Paul Pogba comes in and he is fit and ready to go. He can play regular football. But I just hope, because Paul Pogba, again, the equation with Paul Pogba is like he is there. If he is playing up to his game, he is the best player on the pitch.
Right.
If he is not on his game, he is he's gone. He's nowhere to be seen, and that is something that Manchester United can't afford right now. And also the equation that Real Madrid are also trying to lure in Paul Pogba, that is also something that we have to take into contention, and we'll have to have a player who can easily come into the side and fit like a jigsaw puzzle and completely change this side's attacking options.
Right. And you were talking about Eric Haaland over here.
Yeah.
We will get to talk about Manchester United's midfield as well. And there were reports about Jadon Sancho also probably joining Manchester United in January, which I do not think is possible because Dortmund
No,
are doing pretty
it's we are Manchester United will always be related to big players
yeah.
and big clubs because it is what is bringing in the views from the people because there are massive Manchester United fans everywhere in the world.
So
So
either
you
let me just add one thing over here. You said that Holland might join Manchester United, but don't you think that if we get him, okay, fine, if we get a Jadon Sancho, hypothetically speaking, then we can replace Dan James with Jadon Sancho, and then we can rotate these two players. But if we get a Holland over here, there might be chances of us upsetting Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood. So do you think that would be the right buy for Manchester United because our centre forwards are actually doing quite well for the club at the
the thing with the whole Sancho and Haaland situation is that I believe that Haaland is more of a buy which really lights up the equation for Manchester United because if you remember from the past, we've always had 2-3 striking options, even when there were the likes of Wayne Rooney. There was always Dimitar Berbatov, there were Carlos Tevez before him. When there were top strikers, someone like Dwight York or Cole, there was always
right.
Diego Forlan coming in.
The trio.
So yes, the
Yeah.
Ole Solskjaer, and there was Diego Forlan also in the club as a youngster, if you remember. So Diego Forlan was also present there for a season or two. So, so the main thing right now is that you'll have to be on your toes if you are to compete with sides like Liverpool. It pains me if I hate to say this, but Liverpool are the team to look up to right now. You can't just deny the fact that they have built a team, and that is not a snappy equation. They haven't just made this club in one season like Manchester City had major funds come in and they completely changed the outlook of the team. No, Liverpool kept building for the past 10 years. If you remember, it all started with Brendan Rodgers bringing in Luis Suarez, and the whole equation changed from then.
Right.
Luis Suarez had a phenomenal season before he was transferred to Barcelona. But we need someone I say Luis Suarez, one source of inspiration to just come in and change the perspective, and that is what is required right now for Manchester United. They kept on building, then Klopp came in, and the whole equation changed. I really, at that point, I hope that someone like Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp took helm of United, but the equation didn't match. But right now, I think Manchester United are in a good place. I will still give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least two more windows to see what he brings into the team.
All right, so you're pretty much all in, and let's talk about the Everton game, which is tomorrow. And I think Everton have got the bounce of the new
Yes,
manager, something which
yes,
Arsenal haven't been lucky enough to get because they also had a new
Freddie
caretaker
Ljungberg,
manager.
Freddie
But they
Ljungberg, yeah.
ended up going against Norwich, followed by a defeat, followed by another draw, followed by a win. So, but Everton, I think, will come out really strong against Manchester United. I was reading this somewhere that against the match, in the match versus Chelsea, they had won the most number of tackles in the past decade. A traditional 4-4-2 formation against Chelsea. Duncan Ferguson is like a manager for now, an Evertonian lad, and right now they will come hard at Manchester United. And the second thing that I would like to ask you is about Manchester United's style of play because Everton, I think they might be a little pragmatic. We might get to see a little pragmatic Everton, but we do not do well against teams who actually sit back and who are
Yes.
willing to counter us rather than us countering them. So, what do you have to say? How will we approach the game tomorrow? And how should we approach the season as well and the seasons to come if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager in terms of style of play?
I think for Manchester United, the best equation right now is that we just keep building on the players that we are backing. The best thing to happen for Manchester United would be that nobody gets injured because we've had injury issues since the very first week of the Premier League. The first win against Chelsea, we were all stunned by the performance of the team, and we were like, how is this team performing like this? They were counter-attacking with pace, with intent, and there was like the final touches were really, really good. We took our opportunities really well. 4-0 result against Chelsea, and a Chelsea side which is right now contesting for a top 4 finish, or even a top 3 finish for me. I think Manchester United right now should back on the skills that are bringing them the most amount of success. That is attacking display, go at the teams right from the get-go. And what I really like about this team is that they can rely on the defense to actually defend against Manchester City, who were we were on under a hell lot of pressure in the second half,
Right.
but our defense was really good. Van Bissaka is another player which I'd like to state, and he has been sensational throughout the season ever since he came in with the
He's been the
tackles and with
signing.
the blocks. Signing of the season, yeah, definitely, definitely. Maguire has been good, but Van Bissaka has been sensational from the flank, and I believe that Van Bissaka, if he gets some attacking intent to him, if he just gets some attacking intent, he can be one of the best fullbacks that we'll ever have. And I am having high hopes from this game. The fact that there is some niggles in the side, Paul Pogba coming in, I really hope that Paul Pogba comes in and proves his doubters wrong, because I really like Paul Pogba. He's a very creative player. He's a very creative midfielder, and he can change. He's one of those players who you look up to and say that this guy can change the game in 5 minutes, and he has the capacity to change the game on his own with his vision. It's just that
Right.
whether he gels up in the current side, whether he creates that many chances that he created, like the ones against Chelsea in the very first game week. We'll have to see how Manchester United perform against Everton. But I really hope that we go for the attacking intent and don't sit back, which we often
Right.
do when we are going against the teams who stay back. I really hope that there is more side to side display. We are more often than not we are found just going at the defenders straight head on, and I don't think that is a very positive route against sides which stay back. You need to stretch them up, and I think with pace of Dan James, Marcus Rashford, and Anthony Martial, we're very much capable of stretching oppositions.
Well, yes, I do agree with that, Paritosh. And I've often seen Manchester United fans suggesting that why can't we just play the top six every day, because they could actually attack us, and that would give us proof
Yeah.
for the attackers, for our attackers to actually use their immense space and go with a direct approach, because our attackers have a direct approach. They directly want to go within the D line and then score a few goals. Is the creative mindset that we do not have at the moment, because McTominay and Fred, let me be honest, have been sensational in the central midfield in terms of interception, in terms of winning the ball, 50-50 tackles. They've done really well. But like you said, a certain player like a Paul Pogba is someone who we're daily missing. Andres Pereira has failed for me at number 10 position. Jesse Lingard,
Uh,
all right, you can consider him. But we needed someone like Christian
he's
Eriksen.
not someone he is not someone who I'd like to start in the playing 11. He's someone I'd like to come in the 75th minute and provide me with some quick assists, some quick paced gameplay. But I don't really think that he's someone who I'll pick as a starting 11. Andre Pereira, he
Or a
is
kick
just
to
too much all over the place.
right. Or a kick to the back of the leg, just like what he did against Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
He came into the field and he directly kicked him, and he could have almost been sent off. So he was
He could
lucky
have
there.
he could have he could have he could have he could have been penalized if the referee was angry, and we have seen this more often than not in the Premier League, especially that if the referee gets infuriated, and he was lucky that he had just come on. If he was playing for I think 40-45 minutes, he could have been sent off. It's just that he had just come on, and the referee was not really against Manchester United. We've seen this in many games that our players had uh, been on the other end of this and have registered many bad cards against them. So I really hope that that is not the case with someone like Andre Pereira. He is someone who I looked up to as a genuine talent, but he's just wasting his opportunities. He's not that much creative in the near the D area, and he's also not someone who is having any control over the game. He loses the ball way too often for my liking, and way too often for someone like Manchester United.
I think he takes too many touches, though technically
Yes,
I
yes.
feel technically he's one of the most gifted players in terms of technique. And if you look at his skill against AZ Alkmaar, that was just from another world. But I still feel that Andres Pereira, we could do better, much better than him. And I feel like a certain James Madison or a Bruno Fernandes or a Christian Eriksen, along with Paul Pogba, or even if Paul Pogba is not there, might be able to break down such teams who actually sit back. I think this is the age of the back. And
What is
one thing is that,
critical? You were saying
yeah,
something.
I, you So continue.
Uh, uh, what I'm saying is that even though there is the likes of Paul Pogba in the side, what is crucial to see is that how Manchester United finished this season. They are finally having some momentum.
Right.
If we finish with a title or two, because we are in with the League Cup, we are in with the FA Cup. Uh, if we get a title or two, that will also change the outlook of the club for many players. We'll attract better players. We'll attract better players with say lesser money involved, with lesser wages, because we are Manchester United and because we are failing. Players are demanding huge sums of money. Harry Maguire wasn't the 80 million signing that we had to do just because we were desperate, and that's the equation of Manchester United right now. We are desperate for players. We're desperate for success, and that's why players are demanding high wages, and we are willing to cater to other clubs demanding high money for players. Even if someone like Gareth Bale comes in, because Real Madrid clearly don't want him, we'll have to pay huge sums of money, and that is not something that Manchester United can afford right now, because first the Glazers are for Glazers, but secondly, uh, we are just not that much capable with our financial backing that we can just go out and splurge like Manchester City or someone like Real Madrid.
And the problem is exactly what you pointed out: the board, the Glazers, Ed Woodward in particular, because whenever we're in need of players, we're never the first one to act out there, and uh, say it out to the world that this player is one of us, and we're gonna get him. Unlike a Bayern Munich or even Liverpool now, if you look at the
Yeah,
game
yeah,
after versus Red Bull Salzburg, it was all over Sky Sports and BBC that they're gonna sign Takeshi Minimao, if I'm not mistaken,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah,
were.
yeah,
So I just want us to be as ruthless as the other clubs are in the transfer market. And even if you look at the last transfer window, we signed Harry Maguire 3 days before the window came to an end.
yes,
So
yes.
this is just unacceptable because we needed a centre back since quite a while. We got him 3 days before the transfer window ended. Our midfielders left, Herrera left, Zahiri left, our strikers left. So for those replacements. So it's just I don't know. It's a very sad state of affairs when we talk about the club and the board because they just don't seem much interested in investing their time and money in the club.
Yeah, certainly, and it's the fans who are suffering right now, because fans are the ones who buy the tickets. Fans are the ones who buy the merchandise, and they are the ones who technically are affording all the things that Manchester United are able to do right now in the market, because it's the fans that are putting in the money. It's not the Glazers. It's not clearly not the management who are managing the stuff right, because we are happy to back the club. We are happy to provide the funds. Many fans are happy to buy the season tickets, and we see that with the Old Trafford packed again and again every week. But
Right.
you'll have to repay the fans once in a while. At least just affirm that we are the competitive side that we were in the Alex Ferguson days. Even if we do not win every title on the planet, even if we don't win the Champions League every other year, it doesn't matter. The competitive spirit matters. The fighting spirit matters. We need silverware. Yes, we need silverware to shut our opposition, but it's just that the spirit was lacking, and certainly I'm seeing some spirit in this side, and I really hope that Ole is being back, because the last time when Jose Mourinho was the manager, from the first day I knew that it was a deal with the devil. Whenever you
Right.
deal with Jose Mourinho, there is always the equation that the club culture will be suffering. There will always be players who will not fit in perfectly with how the club
And
fit. Yes, and still I backed Jose Mourinho, because you cannot just hire and fire managers. He was able to get to second position in the league with that team. If you look at that team, that was not worthy of a second position finish in the Premier League with Manchester City and Liverpool, the way they were performing, or someone like Tottenham Hotspur. So it's just that Jose Mourinho, I still believe that he could have gotten at least a transfer window more. He asked for centre backs with his arms wide open. He was begging for centre back and he didn't get one. And right now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got one. Finally, Harry Maguire is a decent centre back, but I don't know if the management and the Glazers or Ed Woodward should continue the way they are continuing. I really hope that, because there is a report that Sir Alex Ferguson would be involved in the club as a director and director of footballing affairs. But I really hope that Sir Alex Ferguson is getting involved again and he is able to pull some strings on his own.
Well, there are plenty of murmurs going around. There are plenty of murmurs going around the club takeover by the Saudis. There are plenty of murmurs going around Sir Alex Ferguson being the director of football about the transfer targets, etc., etc. We'll just have to wait and watch. I just hope that it becomes something worth the wait for us
Yeah.
Manchester United fans. But okay, so the final topic that we're going to talk about over here is our players over here, because our players now are actually the good thing that I like about Manchester United for now is in contrast to the Louis van Gaal, the David Moyes, and the Jose Mourinho era, the players are actually playing for the manager. And when his job was on the line, players like Scott McTominay, Fred, sensational in midfield they have been, and Van Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, sensational in defense. David De Gea is an out and out one of the best goalkeepers, and the front three, Martial, Rashford, and James, they've been prolific as ever. So that's one positive thing that I would like to talk about. But Marcus Rashford, he's in a different league of his own at the moment, because the way that he is taking on defenders, it's like he's having them for breakfast. I mean, he's growing with confidence in every game. So what would you like to say about Marcus Rashford, man?
It's really exciting to see someone like Marcus Rashford with the pace that he comes in, with the power that he comes in. He's not afraid of defenders because he's been training himself physically for that much longer time, and because he's just 22, he's been in the Premier League for what 2-3 years already, and he's someone who can potentially be one of the stars of the future, because he has the work ethic, and that was being said about him from Jose Mourinho as well. When he performed against Tottenham, Jose Mourinho again specified on this, that from the left, I always specified that Marcus Rashford is a player who you want from the left coming in to the defenders and not from the center. And that is why he was always right. Jose Mourinho, no matter how much you talk about his verbal antics and the way that he transforms teams, the way that he uses someone like some say dirty football, or he parks the bus or whatever he does. But Jose Mourinho has an eye for talent, and you cannot deny that. He has a genuine eye for talent, and he knows when he says something. He knows football. He knows that when he says something that it means something, and he knows what he's saying. And he always said that Marcus Rashford is someone who you want in your side from the left, and that is what we are seeing right now. That Marcus Rashford from the left is a dangerous prospect, because he has space. If he is given a chance, he can run through all of the players if he is running from our own box, and that is not seen since the time Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo played together.
And trust me on this, when you hear this, more than the number of goals that he scored, he's missed quite a lot of sitters in this Premier
Yes,
League
yes,
season. He could have
yes,
had
yes.
many more goals if he was a little more clinical. And I think with time will be clinical. We just hope for that.
He'll
And
get
once he
clinical.
does,
He'll get clinical. Yeah.
and then once he gets that window of converting goals, we'll see the massive difference what Marcus Rashford can be in the time to come. But we'll just give our predictions over here. It's Everton tomorrow. Paritosh, are we going to go for a win, or is it going to be another disappointing result against a bottom, with all due respect, a bottom level team?
It's a tricky one, because Everton right now are the exact team that Manchester United were when Jose Mourinho was fired and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, and all the players were fired up, the club was fired up, and the turnaround of events was like, it was massive for us as fans. And for me personally, as a Manchester United fan, I really hope that we get an easy win, but I don't think we'll be getting an easy win. It will be a hard-fought battle. But I think with the two results that we have had, I believe that this is the turning point of the season for us, and we are going to win it. I'll say 3-1. I'll say 3-1.
You're saying it's not going to be easy, and then it's going to be 3-1. Okay, you're suggesting that it's going to be a 90th minute third goal by Anthony Martial or Marcus Rashford. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Will be
Because
on.
we'll have to fight. We'll have to fight, and we'll have to really go at them for the whole 90 minutes. They are not gonna rest, and they are not gonna sit back even if they are 1 or 2 goals down. And I see them scoring one, because from the left, our defense is a little shaky, because Luke Shaw is not completely fit. We saw that against Manchester City. He did his best. He did his all, but he's not 90 90-minute fit. He's not at his 100% right now. And given that he was injured all this while, we can't believe that he'll be 100% coming in. But he's one player. If he is not injured, I see him as a perfect combination to our defense because he has the pace, he has the physical ability, and he can also attack very well with our attackers. So he's someone that I really like. But there is this window of a chance that he gets substituted and he is not there. Someone like Ashley Young is there or Phil Jones is there, and then we concede a goal because I see that happening time and again. Ashley Young is not a defender. I don't know how we're playing him as a defender. He's clearly not a defender. And Phil Jones, I'm really sorry, but you are not someone who deserves to be in a side which is probably going to challenge for the Premier League or the Champions League this season.
Well, I honestly feel this is their final season and they might have to walk out of the door. But you were talking about Luke Shaw having pace and all that, but he also has a bit of banter because he welcomed Romelu Lukaku back to
Romelu
the team.
Lukaku, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
So fair stuff there by Luke Shaw, and we're hoping that we will win tomorrow. Since you gave your prediction that it's going to be 3-1, I suggest that it will be 2-0 to Manchester United. I'm going to go with a clean sheet. Hopefully, we will be able to pull that off because it's been
I don't
quite a
think.
while.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
know, I
so.
know.
I don't think so.
It's been quite a while since we kept a clean sheet in the Premier League, so
I,
I really want.
I think 3-1 or a 2-1 is a result which can happen.
Well,
3-1 or a 2-1.
so we'll wait and watch. And this was Paritosh Joshi, and I was Wali Siddiqui. We will be back. We will hopefully be reviewing the Everton game after we win it, get all 3 points, and continue that winning run. So for now,
Yeah.
that's it, guys. And thank you for tuning in on One United.